Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 9 of What If Naruto Was a Godly Mage. Remember to get this one to 300 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was a OP Seal Master over on Anime King 2. And also stay tuned because later on I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto Got His Memories Sealed Away. And he also posted a new episode of What If Naruto Became the God of Wind on this channel. So go ahead and check it out and enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Let's begin the intro. So, the last time we left off, Hinata had slapped Naruto across the face. She was pissed off. Yes, she was beyond angry. He was going to do something like that so reckless and get himself killed. What the hell was he even thinking? Was he thinking about Uncle? Was he even thinking about her as she was upset with him at the moment? She just couldn't. As she walked off as he called out to her, but she didn't answer him. As she paid him no mind, she headed off. As Naruto stood there completely, miserable. The Kyuubi wasn't talking to him. I know his best friend that he needed right now wasn't even talking to him either. As Naruto decided to just focus on his training, he couldn't deal with all those emotions right now. So he went to visit Guy. As he saw Lee and Tenten and Neji was there. Naruto always hated Neji, yeah, they never really got along. Seeing that Neji always looked down on Hinata like she's some kind of, weakling or something that wasn't really worth his sight or anything like that. And seeing that Naruto was her best friend, it kind of pissed Naruto off every time he saw it. But Hinata was always kind and gentle, and she never wanted any war between her and Neji. She just wanted them to be, acting more like family. So Naruto spent the entire time training with Lee and Guy, as he sent a clone with Team 7 because they were mostly doing exercise bonding missions. And yeah, those were pretty, boring. And seeing that he doesn't have ninjutsu, right now he needs to work on his taijutsu, because none of them can help him with his spells. We then had a time skip as Team 7 went on many other missions, and even another A-rank mission where they're supposed to protect a princess, as Naruto spoke to the Kyuubi. But then she told him something that completely, it hurt him. Even though he would admit it out loud, it hurt him a lot. As she didn't really care about him that she told him. She just didn't want to die with him, seeing that her power has been split into two, and not to mention, the seal. This is very complex. She didn't know if she could escape it in his death. And she just didn't want to die with him, as they were never really friends. As Naruto couldn't believe what he was hearing, he simply turned and walked away without saying anything else. As Yamato then went towards the window, she glared at him, but he told her, it can still be solved now. But if she let the time go on by, and let this continue, things would never return to what they were. And with that he just headed off. As Naruto was upset, he needed his best friend most of all right now, so he headed off to go and find Hinata. When he got there, as Kiba started got up in his face, saying that they don't want him here, as Naruto lost it and smacked Kiba right in the face, knocking him away. He then saw Hinata rush over. He thought that she was coming to him, but she rushed over to Kiba, as Shino raised a wall of bugs right in front of him, and told him that right now in the state of mind he's in, it's better that he just leaves. As Naruto nodded, as he realized he's right, as he headed off. Naruto then ended up walking until he bounced right into someone, as he wasn't really paying attention, as it was Kankuro and Temari, and Kankuro started to talk all crap, pissing Naruto off even more, as Naruto was about to put him in his place when Sasuke arrived. As Garen arrived soon later after that. After asking their name, Garen and his team left. As Naruto went towards the training ground, as Kakashi told him that he submit all of them for tuning exams, but it's up to them as he gave them the forms. The weeks passed after that as the group was ready as Naruto arrived at the academy to see his two teammates there as they were ready to take the tuning exams. So yeah guys, so it's basically that's where we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check out for yourself. So what do you say begin this new episode? Team 7 was walking as they came up on the second floor. As Naruto came to a stop, why was so many people gathered here, he thought to himself. I guess we're here, said Sakura. As Naruto looked towards her, what are you talking about, he said. Sasuke narrowed his eyes. As his Sharingan came to life, it was again jutsu placed over the place. The trick, these idiots right here. This is the second floor, said Naruto. As Sasuke looked towards him. And how do you know that? Because I can see the number, Naruto said. Sakura looked towards the number, what do you mean? It says the third floor, she said. What are you talking about, Naruto said. It obviously said the second floor. As Sasuke narrowed his eyes at Naruto. As it seems that again jutsu wasn't even working on him. Well, whatever this illusion is, said Naruto. Let's go, if these guys aren't strong enough to get through it. Why should we tell them, said Naruto. As he kept on walking, he then heard a voice. Please let us in. As he turned his head, Tenten. As he saw, Lee was pushed back by one of the boys at the door. This test is already hard enough. And if you don't want to die, I suggest you don't take it. I assure you, said Lee, we can handle it. If you will just move aside and let us in. Yeah, said Tenten. Hey, what's going on, said Naruto. Naruto-kun, said Tenten. Well, these guys won't let us in. As Naruto placed a hand on her shoulder. How many rooms did you come up, Tenten? He asked. What do you mean, she said. Just think about it. Well, we came up. Her eyes then widened as she looked towards Neji, who was standing with a calm expression on his face. Neji, is this a... Yes, an illusion. Why didn't you tell me, she asked. Maybe because he's a jackass, said Naruto. Keep on running your mouth like that, and I will shut it permanently for you one day, said Neji. Huh. I know exactly you're gonna do that, Naruto asked. Let us meet in the arena, and you will find out. Big talk, Naruto said. Let's see what's gonna happen when I plant my foot in your face. Naruto-kun, as Naruto turned, as he looked at Lee. So you're here, Lee said, that big smile on his face. I guess that dream of ours can finally come true when you and I finally test our youthful spirit in this exam. Neji then turned his head. You, who are you, he said. As Sasuke narrowed his eyes. It's polite to give your name before asking for someone else. Don't answer him, Sasuke. This prick already know who you are. Considering that I talked about you and Sakura before, trust me, he already know. He's just a jackass that way. You really don't like him, do you? Asked Sakura. She looked at Naruto. Not one bit, Naruto said. Why would I care if you like me or not, Neji said. You're just an obstacle in the way that will be taken care of soon. Big talk, said Naruto. But let's see who's gonna be face down into the ground once we battle in tuning exams. Come on guys, Naruto said, let's go. And with that he started to walk off. See you soon, Naruto-kun, said Tenten. Yeah. See you later, Tenten-chan, he said. We will soon have our springful battle of youth, said Lee as he smiled at Naruto. Yeah, sure thing, Naruto said. And with that they headed all parting ways. As they reached to a large courtroom, Naruto-kun said a voice. As Naruto turned, Lee then flipped off the balcony and landed. What now, Lee? Naruto asked. Well, I came here to challenge your teammate there. I heard that he was a top in his class, and I would like to see how I test up against him before facing off against you, Naruto-kun, said Lee. You there, what's your name? My name is Rock Lee. Well, at least you have some manners, Sasuke said. The name is Sasuke Uchiha. Yes, the famous Uchiha clan. Now, will you have a spar with me so I can see how can I test myself against a legendary dojutsu like that? So you want to fight me, huh? Said Sasuke. As Naruto smirked to himself, Sasuke, he's gonna kick your ass. Sasuke snorted, as if he said, What are you talking about, Naruto Baka? Said Sakura. Sasuke is gonna beat this guy rather easily. As Naruto started to walk off, Hey, where are you going? You don't want to watch a battle? Asked Sakura. I already know who's gonna win, Naruto said. I'll meet you guys there, as he headed off. As Naruto made his way towards the door, he saw Kakashi leaning up against the wall. Hey, Kakashi-sensei, he said. Here to wish us luck. Well, yes, said Kakashi. But where is Sasuke or Sakura? Don't worry, Naruto said. They'll be coming as well. Good. Because if they weren't here, you wouldn't be able to take this exam. What do you mean by that, Naruto asked. Well, this is a team exam after all. Oh, so you did it on purpose, Naruto said, to see which one of us wouldn't want to take it because you knew. If me and Sasuke want to take it, we would kind of force Sakura into it. Yes. So everyone had their own choice, said Kakashi. Always manipulating as ever. I see, said Naruto. Kakashi then saw the look on Naruto's face. What's the matter? Don't tell me you're scared. Nah, nothing like that, Naruto said. Seeing that it's gonna be some time. You remember what happened at the hidden wave, right? Yes. You mean you almost died, said Kakashi. Yeah, said Naruto. Well, I've had some bad feedback to that. What do you mean, Kakashi said? Well, first off, the old man was pissed at me. But he's not anymore. Did Uncle find out? Asked Kakashi. Nah. He promised me that he wouldn't tell her. She'll be the last person I want to tell after the last feedback. She'd probably try to kill me for what I did. But it's Hinata. Oh, your little best friend. I found it strange that she didn't came by to wish you luck on your missions whenever you were heading out again. So she's angry, isn't she? Yeah, said Naruto. Quite angry, in fact. She won't even talk to me. I tried a lot of time, but nothing seemed to be working. It seems like no one is really talking to me these days, he said. Kakashi felt sad as he heard the tone in Naruto's voice. Inside the mindscape, the Kyuubi slowly opened her eyes. Back in the real world, as Naruto sat down. Well, I'm sure that the both of you will become friends once again, said Kakashi. How do you know that, said Naruto. Because the friendship that the both of you had is something very few shinobis come by. I saw that the both of you really care about each other. She always wishing you safe journey and luck on your missions. The only reason why she's so angry is because she's pissed. She's hurt, Naruto. Think about it. How would you feel if you know that she went on a mission and did something stupid and almost got herself killed? As she would be lost without you. I heard about that girl. In fact, she was quite shy. I heard about it from Kunai. You were the one that changed her. Yeah, you could say that, said Naruto. And since then we've been best friends. But it seems like that was all in the past now. She won't even talk to me. Well, I'm sure that she will forgive you one day. It won't last forever. Just cheer up, he said. I don't want you going in there with a head like this. Clear your mind and focus on what you're doing right now. I'm sure everything will work out. Well, if you say so, said Naruto as he got back up. It was then that Sasuke and Sakura came up. As Sasuke was holding his cheek with a large bruise on it. Told you get your ass kicked. What happened, said Kakashi. Oh, he challenged the wrong guy, said Naruto. Well, he accepted a bad challenge. Kakashi-sensei, what are you doing here, said Sakura. Oh, I just came to wish you all good luck. So, good luck, he said. Sasuke said, still rubbing his cheek. Thanks, Kakashi-sensei, said Sakura. Don't worry, Naruto said. We got this. As Naruto then stepped forward and kicked open the door as he stepped inside the room. The moment he did that, Kakashi shook his head as every single killing intent turned towards them. As Sakura stepped back in fear because everyone was now looking at them. But Naruto simply smirked as he stepped forward. As he snapped his eyes around the room towards everyone. The ninjas all stopped looking in the direction instantly because something strange just happened which they can't even comprehend. That wasn't anything they felt before. It didn't feel like chakra. It felt like something, well, bearing down on them. Meanwhile, in the corner of the room, as Gaara narrowed his eyes, this feeling. He felt a feeling a minute ago that he never felt before. As he looked down his arm and clenched his fist. An insane smile then came on Gaara's face as Temari noticed it. As she saw the bloodthirsty smile. As she looked at Gaara's eye direction and saw that he was staring at that boy. As she felt pity for that boy. Whenever Gaara looked at someone like that, he's out to kill. Then you had to rile everyone up like that, Sakura asked. Had to make them knew that we weren't anyone to screw with. I agree 100%, said Sasuke. Really? Said Sakura. Well, I guess you're right, she said. The scared they are, the better, so they won't come after us. And that's where you're wrong, Naruto said. I relish the challenge. I want them to come after us. Well, me, because I want to test myself. I as well, said Sasuke, finally. I have a chance to test myself against other ninjas from different villages, to see how I stack up to them. Finally, we're on the same page, Uchiha, said Naruto. It seems we are. Sakura was looking a bit unsure as Naruto turned towards her. Don't worry, he said. Remember, it's a team test. I got your back. Really? She said out of surprise. We might give each other a hard time, but I'm still your teammate after all. Thanks, she said. Hey, I said I got your back. I don't need to be crushing all over me now, he said. As she glared at him. Shut up, Naruto Baka, she said. As Naruto simply laughed it off. So you guys are here as well, said a voice. As Naruto turned his head, as he saw Shikamaru. Troublesome, said Shikamaru. With you here, Naruto, he said. Everything's gonna be blown out of proportion and be quite extra. You think so, said Naruto. Of course. You're always one for something flashy, said Shikamaru. He's right, said Choji as he munched on some chips. As he looked at Naruto, want some, he said. Nah, I'm fine, said Naruto. As Ino smiled at him, as Naruto smiled back. You know he's right, said Ino. You're always one for doing something flashy. As Sakura narrowed her eyes at Ino. But Ino didn't go after Sasuke or do anything. She just spoke to Naruto. It seems like you guys are here as well. As the group turned, oh hey Shino, said Choji. As Naruto narrowed his eyes, the first thing he saw was Kiba glaring at him, but he didn't pay Kiba any mind. As, for a brief second their eyes met, and Hinata turned her head. He stepped forward but he stopped himself, as he just dressed back. As he leaned up against the wall, as Hinata had a rather sad look in her eye. She has had time to process all of this, and she couldn't just throw away her friendship for something like this. Yes, he did something stupid or thinking about them, but if this continued on long, she didn't want him to get sad or think that he was alone. But she wanted to talk to him in private, and she knew that if she tried to do anything now, Kiba would blow everything out of proportion. He's still angry at Naruto for when Naruto hit him, as she was the one who calmed him down. Even coming here, he was cursing about when seeing Naruto's gonna make him pay. So she knew that if she went over to Naruto right now, Kiba was going to blow everything out of proportion, and she couldn't allow that to happen right here. So for now, she had to keep her distance. Inside the mindscape, because of the seal, the Kyuubi could feel Naruto's emotions, as she felt them getting rather, well, moody. They were going down. That cheerful warmth that she always felt, it was slowly diminishing. She got up out of her bed, as she exited her house. For first time in a long while, she placed her hand on her door. It was then that the mindscape started to glow a bit. She had control in here, since Naruto gave her free roam to roam around. Well, he didn't take out the seal, but he made this place for her and her to control and bend at her will. So she was able to do something like this. As she completely closed the place off, he could still enter, but at the moment he couldn't hear anything. And there wasn't any reason for him to come in here anyway, because he knew that she was still angry. She slowly made her way over, where she saw Yamato sitting down, as he was by the cool, rushing lake, his feet dangling into the water, as he was currently in his human form. Yamato was surprised. It has been a long time since he came out. He didn't say anything at first. Can we talk? She asked. As Yamato turned towards her. About, he asked. You are right, okay? I am angry because you almost got him killed. And it was a lie. Even as much as I hate to say it, I care about the both of you. Seeing that in here we've been like a little family put together, having fun and making jokes and always talking. Even though you're quite a pervert, she said. But I messed up. I messed up bad, she said. I never had to deal with emotions before. I never had to talk this way to a human. So I let my rage take control. I said some things. You heard them as well. Yeah, and I didn't believe you one bit, said Yamato. I knew that you care about the kid. Despite the way you're acting, you were never using him in the first place. I saw your intentions from day one, and I felt it. You were just by yourself, wanting someone to be friends with you. And the three of us being friends were the greatest thing you had back then. Yeah, said the Kyuubi. She lowered her head. But I messed up. I haven't feel this connection that we used to have. It's been getting slower and slower lately, to the point where I don't even feel anything anymore from him. The reason being, he's angry as well. He doesn't want to show it, but he's angry. He's upset that Hinata is not talking to him. He's upset for what I said to him. And I don't know how I can fix it. You just have to apologize, said Yamato. He did something wrong. Yes, and I messed up as well. But that is over with now, and kid survived. He promised multiple times to never do it again. But after hearing what you said, it hurt him. So the only thing left for you to do is just apologize. Do you think you'll forgive me? She asked. As Yamato stood there for a few seconds. I saw the look on his face when he left here. That was the first time I saw the look on his face like that. Even when the villagers gave him a hard time and glared at him, he never paid them any mind. But you were a close friend to him. To hear you say that, it really hurt him a lot. It will take some doing. But yeah, said Yamato. What about you? She asked. What about me? He asked. Do you forgive me? She said. As it felt rather strange to her. These were human emotions. To deal with them in this manner, it was just strange. She never had anyone to connect with before, and now everything was just different. Everything was just new to her. I thought I was just a book, and my feelings didn't matter, said Yamato. Come on, she said. Alright, fine, said Yamato. I will forgive you. On one condition, though. What is it? She asked. I've seen that you locked off the mindscape well, for its hearing range. So, you and I could just sleep together, he said. Her eyebrows started to twitch. She then started to laugh, making Yamato laugh as well. As she calmed herself. You know, even though I'm laughing, I will never sleep with you, right? Come on, why not? He asked. As she just looked at him. Because you're a book, she said, as she started to walk off. You just wait, said Yamato. You're gonna be jealous when I find a beautiful girl to spend my time with, and I don't pay you any mind anymore. Big talk coming from someone that can't even talk to anyone else but me or Naruto-kun, she said. As she went off, Yamato couldn't help but smile. This is what he wanted. Things just to return back to normal. Yes. Now, how was the kid going to take it? In fact, Yamato knew that the kid was pissed. To hear all that things from Kyubey, that she didn't really care about him, that she was just using him to get out of the seal, and she just didn't want to die. It broke a piece of Naruto that day. Yamato knew it would be hard, but not impossible. But he will just have to see. Back in the real world, as Naruto was leaning up against the wall, as Kiba was glaring at him, as Naruto had been going through a lot lately, so outbursts was, it was not something new for him. What do you want, dog? Brett Naruto asked. What did you just say? Said Kiba as he stepped forward. He got right up into Naruto's face as he stopped. Last time you hit me, and I didn't get to pay you back, said Kiba. So what you gonna do about it now? Naruto asked. What's going on with them? Ino asked. Seems that they're at each other's throats, said Sakura, as she looked at the altercation. Kiba, get out of my face, said Naruto. Or what? Kiba asked. I'm going to count to 5, and if you don't move, I'm gonna move you. Let's see you try, said Kiba. 1, 2, 3, 4. As Naruto's hand started to stretch out. Before he could do anything, you guys should really keep it down, you know that? As Naruto turned his head. And who the hell are you? He asked. Well, as you can see, I'm a Konoha ninja as well. You don't have to be that pissed off at me. I'm just giving you guys some advice. As the boy then pointed towards the room. You see, everyone's looking at you. Screw them, Naruto said. If any of you want to try something, why don't you come over here and do it, instead of glaring at me from over there? You think your goddamn eyes can do me anything? He asked, making more attention came on him. He's quite feisty, isn't he? The glasses ninja asked. Who are you? Said Sasuke. Oh, sorry. I am Kabuto. Knowing how tense these student exams are, that is why I came over here to try and quell any altercations from happening, to make everyone take their sides on you. So when everything starts, they're going to try and take you out first. Just let them try, Naruto said. I'll beat everyone here face in. As he glared back at all of them who were looking at him. As Sakura shook her head, Naruto just doesn't know when to, keep his mouth. He's quite, he's a lot like that. So she wouldn't even say anything about it. You know, this is my 7th time taking student exam, said Kabuto. 7, huh? You must really suck, said Naruto. Well, it's just hard, said Kabuto. And because it's my 7th time, I have gathered a lot of information on a lot of ninjas here. I would gladly be able to give you guys information to help you. You have information, huh? What's that? Naruto said as he pointed at one of the ninjas. What do you mean? Those headbands. I've seen a lot of headbands before. And a lot of them in the history books, but I've never seen one like that. Or you mean that musical note? It's from the Hina Sound, a new village coming up in the Rice Country. But it's rather weak right now, seeing that they only send one team here. The Hina Sound, huh? Huh, sounds like a weak name, said Naruto. How can you tell from a name? Kabuto asked. Just look at them, Naruto said. A guy that looked like a mommy. And that one over there looked like a jackass. And that girl over there looked like she's just following those two. Looked like she doesn't even have a mind of her own, Naruto said. Quite the amount on you, said Kabuto. Kin, Zaku. Let's put that little brat in his place, shall we? As Zaku nodded. As him and Doshu dashed off while Kin coming up on the rear. As Naruto stood there, Naruto Ino called out, seeing the Sound Ninjas appear behind him. As Sasuke pulled a kunai, as Sakura reached down to her pouch. Naruto was their teammate after all. They wouldn't make any other ninjas come from any other village to do anything. As Doshu swung his arm towards Naruto's head, but Naruto ducked under with incredible speed. Zaku then came in that spinning kick as Naruto brought up his arm and blocked it, but he was pushed back a bit. Suddenly, Naruto felt something hit him as he collapsed down. What the hell, he said, as he reached up and touched his ear that was bleeding. Huh, thinking the Hina Sound is weak. It's time we put you in your place, boy. As Naruto then looked up towards them with a wicked smile on his face. I've been wanting something to take my anger out on, he said. It was then that he disappeared. Zaku's body was sent sailing halfway across the room before he smashed into the wall. Those who didn't understand what the hell just happened. He then felt something grab the back of his collar with straight force before he was thrust backwards, straight into Kin, knocking her away. Zaku tried to pick himself up, but Naruto stomped right in his face, knocking his head right in the wall. I don't know how stupid you people think you are, stepping inside of Konoha, being from a different village, and attacking a Konoha ninja. Naruto grabbed Zaku by the shirt and raised his arm as he smacked his fist into Zaku's face with great tremendous force, as the force ripped Zaku's shirt that Naruto was holding on, because Naruto hit him with such a force that his shirt was ripped in Naruto's palm. Naruto then grabbed him by the neck and raised his hand again and smashed it into Zaku's face. The second punch had Zaku seeing doubles, as he couldn't understand how one ninja could hit so hard, as he felt like he was going to slip into unconsciousness by just 2 punches. As Naruto reared his fist back again, but suddenly his arm was grabbed. As Naruto turned, Lee, what are you doing? He said. Let me go. Naruto-kun, I must advise you to stop this. This is most unyouthful. And this is not how you react and behave. I knew that you have a rather smart mouth when it comes to people, but you never show a violent tendency like this before. You need to stop this, said Lee. As Naruto turned to see everyone looking at him, as he looked at his knuckle that was bleeding, as he saw Hinata had a shocked look on her face, and she was also close to tears. Well, for a completely different reason what Naruto was thinking. As Naruto then released his hold on Zaku, as Zaku was still seeing doubles. It was then a poof appeared in the room. Alright everyone, Ibiki then suddenly stopped. Hey brat, what's going on? He asked. He looked at Naruto. Hey Scarface, said Naruto. Ibiki then glared at him. I told you not to call me that. Come on, Naruto said. You have a big scar on your face. As everyone saw how Naruto's attitude completely changed. It was because of Naruto, well, he has this mechanism to completely shove everything down and not focus on certain things. As he picked himself up. What the hell happened, he said, as he saw the other boy on the ground wearing that musical note headband that was one of the new villages, the Sound Village. As Ibiki looked at Naruto and saw the blood coming off of his knuckle. There will be no more of that in here right now. I will be the first proctor of the first test. I suggest all of you be quiet and take your seats, because the first exam begins now, he said. Naruto started to walk away, as Lee was looking at his retreating back. Something was definitely not right with him. Meanwhile, Hinata was by herself. Kiba looked over at her. Hinata, you alright? Yeah, Kiba-kun, she said, I'm fine. You look like you're about to cry. Oh, it's nothing, she said. Just forget about it, okay? As she walked off. This was what she feared. Naruto thinking that he's all alone, and releasing his emotion in anger bursts. She had to do something, she had to have a private talk with him, quickly. Meanwhile, Zaku was held back up to his feet by Dosu. "You good?" Dosu asks. "Yeah, I'm fine," Zaku said, as he touched his nose and then winced. "Is it broken?" asked Kin. "I think so. The next time I get my hand on that brat, I'm gonna kill him. In the most gruesomest way possible. No holding back. Just dead," said Zaku. "I'm with you," said Dosu. "Me too," said Kin, as she rubbed her head where Dosu smashed right into her, nearly knocking her unconscious. Lucky she didn't pass out. "Well, whatever that kid is, he's not normal," said Dosu. "What do you mean by that?" said Zaku. "I hit his ears with my ear cannon." "What? I thought you missed," said Zaku. "But how the hell was he able to get back up so quickly?" "That is exactly what I'm thinking. He was supposed to be down for a few minutes, or a second at most, for us to be able to take him down, but he got back up so quickly. And when he hit me, I feel like I was hit by a brick. It's so much force. If we're gonna take him out, we need to do it by capturing him. Using your genjutsu, Kin." "Yeah," she said, "I'll be ready. I'll use my most powerful one, and we can end him. No one disrespect the hidden sound," she said. Yeah, the three of them nodded. And with that, all of them went to their seats. As Naruto sat down, his ears already completely healed from the backlash of that technique. Moving in constant motion, having the area around him dizzy, was nothing to Naruto, seeing that he went through tremendous strain like that already, having his earth golem swing him around for hours upon hours to test his durability and smash into all kinds of objects. Seeing that he knew he always had the Kyuubi to heal him, many wounds, broken bones, so that wasn't anything to him. As Naruto looked at the test paper in front of him, the thing was ridiculously hard. This was impossible, right? He then narrowed his eyes, he noticed Sasuke had his Sharingan activated, copying the guy in front of his move. As Sakura was smart, so yeah, she could do this. But Naruto had many tricks up his sleeve. As he took the rubber out of his pencil, "Animate," he said. The thing grew 2 eyes, and 2 tiny arms and 2 tiny legs. As Naruto placed a hand on his head, before instructing it what to do with his mind, it then bounced off as it bounced towards. As Naruto was surprised to see one of the people already done, and he already knew all of his answers. As the rubber bounced on top of his head, and started scanning his paper, as Naruto then closed his eyes, he could see everything that the rubber was seeing. Yes, his animate power seemed to have evolved over the time that he has been training. He was able to see through the objects that he animate eyes, as he simply write down all of the answers, and got all of them. After that, he just kicked back. He then felt a pair of eyes just staring at him. He felt something as he turned. The moment he turned, Hinata turned her head rather quickly, as he just turned back to his paper. "Hey, kid." "Yamato," said Naruto. "Yeah, it's me," said Yamato. "You see that guy over there? The one with the red head that you met earlier?" "Yeah, what about him?" Naruto said. "You remember when I told you that I sensed something strange inside of you?" "Yeah, that was the day I found out." As Naruto said nothing else. "He's just like you." "What? You can tell?" "Yeah, I can feel the same feel that I felt from you." "So he's a Jinchuriki as well?" "That's surprising. Well, he kind of seemed strange at first. I never thought that he was a Jinchuriki. I wonder what kind of..." "Hey, Naruto didn't stop. Remember that she wasn't..." "Well, he's a Jinchuriki," Naruto said. "I guess I'll have to watch out for him. He must be quite dangerous. Well, coming from the Hidden Sand, if I think about it, Gigi did tell me something. Yeah, I believe the Hidden Sand has the one-tail Shikaku. Do you remember that?" Yamato Naruto asked. "Yeah, I do. I was there that day. He was talking about the other tail beasts, all of the nations." "Yes, you're right. The one-tail Shikaku. A raccoon if I'm not wrong." "Yeah, I suppose so," said Naruto. "Well then, I guess I just have to be more careful around him. But it's not anything I can't handle." After time was up, "Alright, everyone put your pencils down," said Ibiki. As he looked at all of them, "Now for the 10th and final question. It will be your option to take." "What do you mean?" one of them asked. "Just listen. If you take this question now and fail it, you will never in your life be able to take the Chunin exam ever again." "What?" one of the grass ninjas said. But what about the other tuning exam people who took this question before? Well, today, I am in charge. I guess you got the wrong instructor, said Ibiki. So take this and fail, and you will never be able to take the exam again. But you can give up right now and be able to take the exam next year. So choose. Naruto narrowed his eyes as he watched Ibiki rather closely, looking at the man's every single movement, as Naruto knew that something was up. Ibiki was a master interrogator. This can't be real, this must be some sort of trick. He's known Ibiki for quite some time now, seeing that Anko and him always play poker with some other guys, and Naruto was always there, following her. He once played poker with them before, but they didn't want him to play anymore because every time he came, he cleaned out all of their money. Well, what they didn't know was that Naruto simply animated the cards, and the cards could tell him whatever each member had in their hand. And that is how he won a bundle. As Naruto knew that something was off as he just sit there, as he watched teams after team just left. As Ibiki looked at him as Naruto placed his foot on the table, as he smiled back at Ibiki, Ibiki grunted. Is there anyone else? He asked. As Naruto turned, Sakura was currently shaking as she didn't know she could do this. Sasuke narrowed his eyes as he noticed as well. If she gave up, that means all of them had to leave. And that would be really messed up for the situation that they want to go ahead right now. As Naruto and Sasuke's eyes met, they had to do something. As Naruto turned towards her, Hey Sakura, he said. You know, Sasuke was planning on kissing you. Once we got past the first round and moved on to the second round, he told me not to tell you because it was a secret. As Sakura's eyes went wide. Really? Yeah, said Naruto. So, do you want to give up and not get that kiss? As she looked back at Sasuke, Sasuke with his Sharingan was able to read Naruto's lips, as he glared at Naruto a bit. He saw Sakura turning towards him, as he couldn't afford for her to leave right now. As he made his face look well, not blank. As Sakura couldn't believe it. This was true. She couldn't afford to quit right now. It doesn't matter if she never takes the Chunin exam again. She would finally be with her Sasuke-kun, she thought to herself. As she stopped shaking instantly. That easy, huh? Naruto thought to himself. Well, it seems like no one else is giving up. So why don't you go and give us the 10 questions, said Naruto. Motive brat, said Ibiki. Fine, you all pass, he said. What? Another one said. As Ibiki went on to explain the true meaning behind this exam, suddenly a banner burst through the window. As everyone saw, it unraveled itself to read, the super sexy Uncle Mitarashi, the proctor for the second exam. As Uncle scanned the room instantly. I knew that you would never quit, she said. But wow, Ibiki, looks like you're really losing your touch. There's a lot of them here. Not my fault they want to die, said Ibiki, making some of the kids in the room gulp. Alright everyone, Uncle said. Get moving, we're going to training ground 44, or otherwise known as the Forest of Death, she said, as Naruto walked off and catch up with Uncle. This will be a piece of cake for you, Uncle said, just smile. Well, seeing that I know the place in and out. I suppose so, said Naruto. It's like a second home to me after all. Hey, Sakura. Who is that girl? Asked Ino. Oh, don't you remember her? She used to come by to pick up Naruto sometime. And when he passed the exam, she... Oh, said Ino. Yeah, I remember her now. You think she's like his sister or something? I don't really know. How could you not? You've been on a team for him for a couple of months now. Well, yeah, but what? Asked Ino. Why are you so interested, asked Sakura, in him? Just leave it alone, okay? Wait, why are you so interested in him? As Sakura looked towards Ino. Oh, it's nothing, I just want to know what was going on. As she just walked off. Thought Sakura she headed off as well. Through the entire time Naruto was walking with Uncle, so Hinata didn't get her chance to speak to him. As, in the mindscape, the Kyuubi was sitting down outside. Why didn't you say anything? That would have been your perfect opportunity to come in and tell Naruto that the Ichibai was the one Tails. You were scared, said Yamato. Of course not. I've never been as scared of anything in my life, she said. That's what you say. But I can clearly see that look on your face. You were scared. You need to rip off this band-aid right now. What are you talking about, she said. I mean, if you let this drag on for too long, you are just gonna get caught up in your own thoughts. And then eventually you're not gonna want to tell him. I'll tell him on my own time. You saw what he did out there, right? You know that he's getting quite, crazy. He's not getting crazy, just working off some steam. Well, having two people that was close to him mad at him now, it's pissing him off. And he's gonna be lashing out in violent tendencies. If anything too bad happened, out in that force of death, he's gonna lose it. And you know what happened when you get angry, right? That won't happen, said the Kyuubi. We'll see. Are you against me on this, she asks. No, I'm with you. I just want you to talk to the kid and hurry up and do it. Because you're wasting too much time. And the more you go on, the longer it's gonna take for you to talk back to him. And the longer it's gonna take for the three of us to work together to make Hinata and him become friends again. I suppose that they need to become friends once again. He real needs her as his best friend right now. Yeah, said Yamato. But we need things to return back to normal first. So hurry up and get things back to normal already, said Yamato. As the Kyuubi just grunted. Time skip. It has been at least 30 minutes. As Team 7 entered the Forest of Death, they were given a Heaven Scroll, so their job was to get an Earth Scroll. So what now, asked Sakura. Well, easy. You guys should follow my lead, said Naruto. Yes, Sasuke said, I believe we should. As Sakura and Naruto turned towards him. What, he said. First time you're agreeing with me so quickly. Well, you do know the layout of this place. After all of your nonsense conversations about you being in this place a lot of times. I suppose I could follow you this one time, said Sasuke. But it doesn't mean that you're in charge or anything. Aw, said Naruto, I'm touched. You do listen to my stories, do you? What the hell are you talking about, dope? Sasuke asked. Well, you remember that I told you I come in this place a lot of time, right? And you, Sakura, Naruto said. I can't believe it. You not listen to my stories. I guess me and Sasuke are only true friends in here, right? Come on, Sasuke, pal, Naruto says. He started to walk off. As Sakura just glared at him. But she didn't remember. Sasuke-kun, she said. Did you tell Naruto that? Oh, Sakura, I lied. Sakura's face became a new shade of red. What? As Sasuke then narrowed his eyes, be quiet, he said. As he looked around. What is it, Sasuke-kun, she asked. Someone's coming. As a few seconds later, a group landed. Why don't you just hand over your scroll before things get rough? They were Rain Jennings, as they were wearing strange black bodysuits, with strange things over their face to breathe underwater. You gotta be kidding me, right, said Naruto. You guys are going to bully us into giving you our scroll. As the leader of this little group stepped forward. Yes, we are, he said, as he pulled out a kunai. Oh, you have a kunai, Naruto said, as he reached into his pouch here, as he tossed the scroll over to the man. The man caught it. I guess you're not as dumb as you. Boom. The scroll exploded, ripping off his hand in the process, as his body was sent sailing before crashing into several trees, and he was not getting back up. His two teammates stood there with wide eyes. As Naruto leaped forward, he grabbed the both of them by their face and smashed their head down into the ground without even a second thought. As he picked himself back up, he then went into their pouch. Hey, come on, help me find the scroll, he said. Wait, what if that guy just blew up, had the scroll with him? Yeah, that would be really bad. As he turned to see Sasuke and Sakura looking at him, rather oddly. Hey, what's wrong? That was so brutal, said Sakura. Really? Said Naruto. You know we're ninjas, right? He said. As he then looked at what he did to the guy over there, that was pasted against a tree. As he already died from all the blood loss of his arms blowing off. I guess I had a lot more shit to work with than I thought, he said. You think? Said Yamato. Hey, I'm getting through it, said Naruto. From my recent activities, I won't say that, said Yamato. As Naruto kept on searching for the scroll. Bingo, he said, as he pulled out the Earth Scroll. First try, as he tossed the Earth Scroll to Sasuke. As Sasuke caught it, as he put the Earth Scroll into his pouch, the real Heaven Scroll was. That Naruto had was just a decoy. Something he had planned explicitly, so something like this. What about them, Sakura asked. Leave them, Naruto said. Remember what Uncle said, it's not our fault if they died in here. As he started to walk off, Sasuke and Sakura looked at him. They could really see now that Naruto was angry, yes. They wasn't really focused on it before, but they could see it now. Even though he smiled and laughed, he was angry behind all of that fake smile. Sakura had noticed that Hinata never came back to their spot when they were going out on missions to wish Naruto luck. She was always there wishing him luck and made sure that he came back safe. And then she would wish Team 7 luck to all of them. But now she never really visits anymore. As Sakura caught up. Hey, Naruto, she said. What is it, Naruto asks. I was wondering. Aren't you and Hinata friends anymore, she asks. As Naruto stopped. But he didn't answer. Naruto, she said. Sasuke narrowed his eyes. As he kneeled down and placed his hand on the ground was literally shaking. Something was coming. Sakura's eyes went wide when she turned her head to see the entire right side of the ground being rooted up towards them. As the massive wind attack spread out wide and smashed into all of them, as all of them were blown away. Sasuke blinked several times. He had minor cuts on his body as he picked up himself. What the hell was that, he said. He then saw a snake. A rather large snake slithering around. He rushed behind a tree. As something was off about that snake. It seemed focused, like he was looking for something, not like a wild animal should. Oh, there you are, said a voice. Suddenly, the tree that he was behind exploded. Meanwhile, Sakura slowly picked herself up as she winced in pain, as she rushed back towards where they were. Naruto blinked several times as he looked around. As that was completely unexpected, the force of that wind attack was incredibly strong. He picked himself up as he started to walk, holding on to his head a bit. Suddenly, the ground underneath him broke, as a massive snake with his mouth already wide open swallowed Naruto wide and started to move off. The snake started to slither away at quite distance before the snake came to a complete stop. The snake body started to throw itself around as something ripped right out of the top. It was a golden arm. As the thing was big enough to hold the snake like it was just a simple worm. As the two arms ripped right out of the snake, tearing into cinders, before Naruto jumped out as he cancelled his spell and landed. Suddenly the snake then poofed away. Naruto's eyes went wide. That was a summoning. But it can't be. Is it that man? He only knew two persons that can summon snakes. Anko is not in here, and she wouldn't do something like this. So if it's not Anko, then... Naruto's eyes started to change as he became red with slits in them, as his fangs started to bear out. If it's that man who put Anko through all that hell... Naruto burst off with tremendous speed, dashing from tree branch to tree branch as he hoped that he would make it in time. As he saw some more explosions going off, before a massive fireball teared through the trench, as he had to jump away as the thing came straight towards his direction. As he landed, he then heard a scream, back over towards the scene as Sakura rushed towards Sasuke as he fell, clutching onto his neck. What did you do to him? Oh, I just gave Sasuke a little gift. Sakura glared up at the man, even though she knew that she didn't stand a chance. His face has peeled off by Sasuke's fireball. He was Orochimaru of the Sannin. Once he awakes, he will come and seek me out for power. Sakura's hand was shaking as she was holding on to her kunai. As Orochimaru stepped forward, that taunting look on his face. Suddenly, a massive hand came from the ground and Orochimaru jumped away. As Naruto landed, Naruto, what happened to Sasuke? Naruto asked. He bit him, and now he's not waking up. Go. No, you can't, she said. This guy, he's Orochimaru, one of the legendary Sannins. He's too strong, you will die. I said go, Naruto said. I told you before, Sakura. You are my teammate, and I will protect you. Despite your bickerings, we're still on a team. As he looked back at her, it's your job to protect Sasuke. Now go. I'll handle this guy. Are you sure? Yeah. Just run, Naruto said. Be careful, she said, as she picked up Sasuke and jumped off. As she looked behind her, as she wondered if Naruto could really handle this guy. And the other part of her couldn't believe he was willing to risk his life for them. As she watched him as she went off into the distance. Quiet little hero are you? You don't know how long I've been waiting for this moment, said Naruto. Oh, said Orochimaru with a mocking smirk. And which moment is that? For the day I finally see you, and I get to kill you, Orochimaru. Oh, and why is that? Orochimaru said, as Naruto clenched his fist so tight that blood started to leak from his palm. After all you did to Anko. Anko? Oh, so you're that brat. I heard that she had adopted someone. To think that she adopted someone like you, said Orochimaru with a mocking smirk. She has always been lonely and left out ever since I left her. She was like my little lap dog for me to test my newest, experiment on her. But after she proved that she wasn't, Use flint more. I decided to throw her away. And she went and adopted someone like you, Orochimaru said, a mocking chuckle. Quite pitiful. I suppose while I'm here, I should visit her. Inside the mindscape, the Kyuubi rushed out of her house because something was wrong. The sky suddenly turned red. Yamato was looking up with rather shocked look on his face. What the hell is going on? He said. As the Kyuubi looked up as well, suddenly the sky then split, as a giant eye could be seen, emerging. What the hell is that? Are you doing this? Yamato asked. Of course not, she said. Suddenly, Yamato reverted back to book form. What the hell, he says. A red energy came over him. His cover then burst open as spells upon spells started to arrive. The Kyuubi was shocked. She never saw so much spells arrive before. What's going on? Naruto-kun, she thought. Meanwhile outside, Orochimaru was chuckling. It was then that he felt it. He was blown back. But by what? What is this? He said. As he looked at Naruto. You dare talk about her like that in front of me, Naruto said. Inside the mindscape, the Kyuubi watched. As that eye up in the sky, it was strange. It had 3 circles. As a smaller one in the center, a bigger one above that, and a bigger one above that. But in the smallest one in the center, there was a cross in it. And it was glowing red. Back in the real world. It seems you're something different, said Orochimaru. It's the first time ever feeling a power like this. What are you, boy? He said. As Naruto started to shake uncontrollably. Suddenly, the trees started to get rooted out of the ground, shocking Orochimaru even more, as he had to step back as several trees were thrust towards him. But not by Naruto using them, they were just violently thrown all around the place. I am your executioner, Naruto said. You dare talk about her like that right in front of me. And what are you gonna do, Orochimaru said, taunting the boy on because he wanted to see what kind of power is this. Well, that was a stupid thing to do. Naruto's body started to lift up off the ground. He wasn't focusing because of the rage that was taking over. His eyes were changing, returning back to normal and changing to something else. As his arms started to change as well. Strange markings started to appear all over them. As his body started to hum with unbridled power, shocking Orochimaru. Whoa, what is this? Orochimaru said. Suddenly, Yamato then appeared in the real world. Naruto, what's going on? He shouted. But Naruto didn't answer as he looked towards Yamato and saw all the spells coming in. Naruto raised his hand up in the sky. Meanwhile, as Kankuro stopped, what the hell is this? He said. As he felt the power, it just radiated through the area. As Temari shivered a bit. Who is doing this? It's him, said Gaara. It's him. Finally, he said, a wicked smirk. I finally find someone to prove my existence. As Temari just looked at her brother, whatever this was too much for her. As she felt like she was being drowned in a sea of uncontrollable power, like it was just overwhelming her, trying to force her to her knees. Back with Hinata and her group, as Akamaru started to whimper, as Kiba looked up. What the hell is that? He said. As Hinata felt this power, it felt familiar. Could it be Naruto-kun, she thought. Meanwhile, Orochimaru watched in fascination, but then that smirk on his face turned into a frown when he watched Naruto raise his hand up in the air. Even Yamato looked up. What the hell? For the first time in a long while, Orochimaru was utterly speechless to what he saw in the sky. Back in the village, an envoy flashed in Sarutobi's office. As Sarutobi felt something was going on, he felt uneasy. He was about to turn around, but the envoy spoke to him first. Hokage-sama. Look, he said. Sarutobi turned his head as his eyes went wide to what the hell he was looking at. Meanwhile in the village, as a shadow started to appear, the villagers started watching in utter shock. Many of them started screaming, panicking to wonder what the hell was that. But guys, in the end episode right here, if you want the next part of this, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn the bell notifications to stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends and social media platform. But for now, I'm out. See you guys soon. Peace.